Cain, the first murderer in history, is often held up as an example of the worst humanity has to offer. In fact, in the apocryphal book of Bartholomew, when the ghost of Jesus descends into hell to rescue all of the dead and take them up to heaven on the day after his resurrection, the only three people who are so bad that they get left behind are Judas, Herod, and Cain.
Okay, so in the last video, we were talking about Cain, and we're trying to figure out his origins.
And what the whole story is about.
Exactly. So...
because they talk to us in stories, just to interject.
Yeah.
They in the past, and to be honest, even now, think about the news. They tell you a story.
Everything's in riddles.
Everything's presented as a story. And perhaps it's a way of remembering, but also it's a way of hiding things. And since we've been studying, we realise that they do a lot of hiding, don't they? In stories. And
they love changing names.
Yeah, the name changing, the places that they lived, the changing the names of places. There's a lot of AKAs with one character, and what I'm realising is that Adam is not exactly who they say he is. It's a story. They're telling you in a fable, in a mythological way, which we know now in a lot of these Disney stories are actually stories about the governments and the wars and the royals.
Yeah, they think they're
honestly,
but your brain is full.
Honestly, it's deep. But either way, because we're trying to get, the point is we're trying to work out what all of this is really about.
What's actually going on?
And religion and the churches, it's not what you think it's about. It really isn't. And a lot of these people who are put in these positions, like the terrible Pope, what was his name?
Rodrigo de Borja y Doms, or Rodrigo Borgia, as he would become known in Italy and recognized internationally as Pope Alexander VI, leader of the Catholic Church. Even today, characterizations of Borgia range from conniving to evil, and some even call him the Devil Pope.
Wonder who he's related to. The same Bulgaria who gave us the face of Jesus, I reckon. They must be related.
The lineage, the names.
Yeah. Anyway.
But they try and say things and like maybe put accent on it to make it seem like
it's a different person. Yeah, they play so many games. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so you'll see that a lot of these people that have been given these positions of power, they don't practice what they preach. They don't follow no commandments. In fact, they're the most hedonistic, evil, disgusting.
Please.
Oh my. And do you know what? They're doing a lot what these celebrities apparently do at these parties.
Oh, eating doo-doo.
They're doing more than that.
Alongside their father for one of the most scandalous events to take place inside the walls of the Vatican, known as the Banquet of Chestnuts, and involved a party with over 50 sex workers. At one point, chestnuts were thrown about on the ground by the guests, and the sex workers were ordered to crawl on the floor to pick them up. There's no detail on whether the Borgias participated in this contest. Rodrigo, Cesare, and Lucrezia were all present at this banquet. Additionally, Burchard's diary is considered credible by historians, since it would have only contained factual information and wasn't influenced by rumors of the time.
So back to about Cain. People along the way have had plenty of theories. Obviously, it's not just us. And they haven't believed a lot of the things that have been said in these Bibles. And also, I believe that some of these people, well and no.
They do know, but you know what? You kind of have to feed people a little bit of the truth. Because maybe, you know, they're under some sort of oath themselves.
Perhaps.
But they can't exactly say.
Yeah, because I think they're from the lineage as well. Look, they look all...
And some people are just dirty, bad mind, crosses spirit.
True.
Bye.
Well, what did my man say, this one here?
So we have a passage from someone called J.R.W. Stott.
Yeah.
So he goes on to assert that only Adam and his descendants were infused with the breath of God and a spiritual nature corresponding to God himself, and to say that all mankind subsequently to Adam's time must have been literally descended from him. However, he retains the concept of pre-Adamic races, E.G. Cro-Magnon man and says they have been exterminated by God for unknown reasons prior to the creation of the original parent of the present human race.
Do you see how cleverly they worded that? They know what they're doing. So they already said who
has the breath of God
within them. And if you really go and search into the Holy Spirit, I'm sorry to upset you, and I'm not trying to antagonise you. Satan, but they say the Holy Spirit's associated with Satan. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, and honestly, with all the information I'm gaining, there's so many videos for me to prove what I'm saying without you think, oh, she's just talking. Anywho, and remember with the Magnon man, they already said the pre-Adamites were black beasts.
Please.
But that's a new terminology. I don't know that one. So we need to look into that. Anywho, so
the same thing.
Well, so my mind said, okay, well, Abel's his brother, innit? So let me go look him up.
Yeah.
When I went, there's a picture that we'll put up. And he's obviously dead on his father's lap. And his mother is crying on the father. I noticed the skin tone on the father is darker. Yeah, because all of these things they do for a reason. Because if they wanted to make him pure white, they would make him pure white. So they're giving you little signals. Anywho. So, when I looked into Abel, guess what came up? Abel is a saint. The wording was, there's a comparison between him and Jesus. I said, since when? I said, what do they mean by that? So I read on and it said, Abel is seen as a martyr. So I said, and talked about the shedding of his blood. With Jesus, it meant mercy, but with Abel, it meant vengeance. And I said, so this is what all of this is about. This is what all these wars are built on, the back of so-called religion. But really, these people don't care about religion. It's all about power, greed, and ethnic cleansing.
Right.
And I will prove that in the next video. I'm not just going to say things for the sake of saying them. I will read certain things so that you know that it's true. So, when
we put in that passage of Hitler talking about?
Well, I wasn't sure whether to insert it.
I blame it still.
I'm not going to read it, you read it. So when I went to these calendars, it said the calendar of the saints is a traditional Christian method of organising I never could say that word. Liturgical, thank you, year by associating each day with one or more saints and referring to the day as the feast day or feast of said saint. The word feast in this context does not mean a large meal, typically a celebratory one, but instead an annual religious celebration, a day dedicated to a particular saint. And there you go. Unfortunately, one thing about them, I feel like they do it on purpose. You can't read what it says. Well, why would they let us read it, really? Anyway, it says a medieval manuscript fragment of a Finnish or origin, 1340 to 1360, utilised by the Dominican, this is what I was trying to say, that I'll break that down another time, convent at Turku, showing the
liturgical
calendar for the month of June. So lo and behold, I said, so you mean to tell me, we were looking at this, it was just a story about creation, but it's not. You know, it's about, like with America being the new world, it was people creating a new system to suit themselves. And so I said, so I looked even further. And so I thought, well, okay, let me look in a different way then. And then what did I find? Why did I find him? What I put in was something to do with like a prince who killed his brother. Anyway, you guess who springs up? I thought, you're kind of all right still. King Leo, son of Danielo. And so I just stared at him and said, okay, this is to do with Russia.
Defo, a black man.
Defo.
No hiding that.
1243
in the year
1243. Anyway, so I looked him up. And he said, at the time of these rebellions, so there's rebellions going on, the Prince of Zodal, that's his other title, Alexander Nevsky, helped the Mongols. See next name? Do you see? Nevsky.
That's who I was referring to.
Helped the Mongols to kill his own brother. See it there? And so I stopped. I said, why did I not see that before? Because I've been researching so much things that I forgot. That was what happened. I went, hang on, this story. And it said, suppressed popular rebellions against the horde with fierce punishments and acknowledged himself the adopted son of Batu Khan. I said, like Genghis Khan and all of that. All in the territory of modern Russia. Now, I know, but you guys didn't know, but you kind of knew because we showed you the map, that there was, Russia was Asia.
North Asia.
And there was India East, India with an E next to it. So our research is taking us there anyway, in regards to Cain. And we already know, but we have to share it with you. So this brother came up and I said, He said the large-scale Mongol Tartar attacks on the Ukraine lands took place approximately once per decade. Ukraine princes sometimes tried to fight back, at times with some success. In 1275, the Mongol Khan Kurdan led a large army and invaded Policia, which is Poland. Now, this is where his name changes again. Now, I didn't clock it earlier. I'm only clocking it now because it led me to him when I went to look. Prince of Delesia, that's his other name. Do you see now? That's 4 names or 3 names and 1 title. Right. Let me see. Yeah. Grand Prince of Sviatoslav joined forces with Lithuanian princes and received the support of a detachment from Lutsk to counter the Mongols. A battle on the Okonivka River near Moisera, now Belarus, ended in the defeat of the Mongol Tartar army, and only the Khan with a small unit managed to escape. Long story short, I went to look him up. And I'll go into it on the next video. But here's the thing. When I looked up who his mother was, well, she does have a name. But apparently she was the first person to get dashed out of a window. And one of the names they gave her was Jezebel. They speak about her in the Bible, don't they? I said, it keeps coming back. When I looked up Eve, she was similar story.
Temptress.
I said, what's going on here? So really, and then to this very day, they do the Northern Lights in Russia, and they still speak of the great Prince Zadal, him. And then when they take you on this trip to the Northern Lights, yeah, but when they take you to trips to the Northern Lights, they take you to the biggest monument, which is a church, and it's called Isaac Cathedral. Ishak. And when I was looking up all of this, I forgot to say what else came correlated to Cain and him was Prince of Judah. So what I'm saying to you is, okay, I've said to you what they do is they do what with your identity? They assume your identity, then they change their names, then they put themselves in the story, and then you're out here calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite. And I don't.
That's
I'm gonna.
They don't have any history. They don't know where they come from. So instead of allowing the black people to have their royalty and riches and all of that, let's just mash up the thing so they're confused and never know
what's going on,
where they came from, how it all started. That we don't actually. Okay, let me just.
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Once again, until people go and either research for yourself, because I don't want anybody to say that I'm leading them astray. Please,
look it up yourself.
Please go and look up these points yourself. So, what I'm saying is, a lot of us out here calling yourself Hebrew Israelites. I'm not taking your God away from you. That I'm not trying to aggravate you. What I'm saying is this.
You saw the last video.
You can be whoever you want to be, right? And you can say you're the original. But what I will say to you is this. The more I research, the more I'm realizing that, all right, do you know about British Israelism? I've spoken about this a couple of years ago. And when somebody prolific looked into it, they said it doesn't make sense because the genealogy, they're not associated with Israel. But what I've just said is what I've just said. They make themselves, they're using the titles, they're using the countries, but the story isn't yours, it's theirs. Listen, when you look at that table of the Last Supper, you think it actually represents what it represents. I'm telling you now, I'm doing this research, it doesn't. How many people are at the table? Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
So 12 disciples.
And who? 12 disciples.
Rubbish.
And who?
Jesus.
Right. So that makes how many?
13.
And you know there's 13 bloodlines, don't you? No, man, I'm just saying it. I ain't got time for these games anymore. Do you see? Do you see how they put it straight in your face and you never clocked it?
And they'll be laughing in the pictures.
I'm just saying to you, they've got everybody duped. The strong delusion is not only religion, but understand, and we've been showing you, and we'll keep showing you. Remember, magic is heavily, heavily a part of religion. And some of the links that we'll give you, you will see that.
You see, even the way how they call it black magic, yeah. They've obviously put a bad spin on it anyway with the whole witchcraft and summoning demons and that. But it's always our things, like, you always take our things and make it bad.
See,
and then everyone's all afraid, like, oh.
It's evil. It's evil because of what they're doing with it.
He was called a man of God by some, and a mad monk by others. Some saw him as a gifted healer, while others thought of him as a conniving grifter. A few even believed he had supernatural powers. What can be said for certain about Gregori Rasputin, whose last name translates to debauched one, is that his influence over the last royal family of Russia was polarizing.
But if you believe in the story of Yakub, especially if you're black, the cartoon or the animation, yeah, that story is still about the fallen angels and Satan and his brother. I've forgotten his brother's name, but Yakub, Satan, is angry with his brother because he basically did a thing with his wife, the wife that didn't want to be with him. So this all started with the carbon
Man.
or God. It started with, it doesn't matter which way you listen, when you just go and learn your history.
Even just to say
just
that.
go and learn it. Go and learn it and you will see, listen, the Moors. Let's brush on the Moors, right? There's been so many things about the Moors over the years. But one of the theories is, as we know, as that lady said in the video prior to this video, I think we put her twice now. Now, the Moors, they say, I'm just going to say it, weren't from here. They're saying that the Moors weren't even from this planet.
First gods in antiquity were black. Zeus, Apollo, Osiris, Isis, Buddha.
You'll see them in a lot of films. And yes. you haven't realised it.
Open lizard.
They were teaching
spiritualism.
Yeah, but they were, and apparently they're quite loved, if you want to call them the humans, or if you want to call them the wild one, or the Neanderthal, whatever, civilization. But everything they taught them, they used it against them to conquer all of our people. Now, remember that Louis Vuitton picture that you put that up? Can you see what we're saying? The information is all there, but what they're saying is they used the magic against them. There's a famous piece of a battle, is it against the Zulus, It might be. I can't remember. It's been years, like a decade or more, since I've seen it. And there's a British army, or could be Russian, I don't remember now, going up a hill towards the Zulus. Could be them. And there was one, you can see one more with them walking up the hill. It's black and white. I'm sorry, if I can find it, I will find it and show you.
You were sellout.
And everybody called them sellouts, but apparently they used their own magic against them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how do you take over the whole of Africa with your 1, 2, 3, 4 small countries and think so the whole continent? You can just wash it. Something, right?
Something sus, isn't it? And that whole Maleficent film,
yes.
Isn't it about the Moors? Isn't it say in the title?
It's Moors War.
I think it's about the Black Moor Queen who's actually in that Louis Vuitton picture. I think it's about her. Thing is, what we're saying to you is,
they're putting the information out there. They just laugh at us at this point. We all look dumb. Basically we do.
All I'm saying is, look into everything that we're telling you. Also, in regards to the comment that we just made, yeah. So another person that believes in that theory and the powers that be, including our monarchy, really are on him, is RASHAD. Hey, because if you say his name and put his stuff in your video, they'll lock you off.
Nations, if you want to give me energy today and donate energy back, don't do it through a currency. Just do it through sharing the live right now. Do it through screen recording this shit, because I'm finna expose they bitch ass like I always do.
But I'm going to put him in anyway.
RASHAD.
Go to his channel. And you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. I've only been listening to him for about a week or so.
No, it's been longer than that.
Not very long. 2 weeks then. It's not been very long. What I will say is, I'm not the only weirdo on this planet.
But it's not weird though. It's just the fact
But
that
for
you can
years
decrypt-
I've been talking about
you
these
can
things.
decrypt all the fabrications. Do you get it? All the little codes and the little intricacies and all the lies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I think most people aren't focusing on. That type of stuff. It's more just like, let's see what the media throws out at us, and yeah.
You know what? Because we're taught not to think for ourselves.
The whole thing is based on being dependent on the government, and that's why I feel like most people are just like comfortable with, oh, you told me I have to stay in my yard, fine. Like they do a little rearing up, but they're not really gonna change that outcome or how they want their lives to be. They just see it as, this is the city that I live in, the country that I live in, and I must do as I'm told. But then you see, if we have to fend for ourselves or fight against, I don't know, all these aliens or something comes here, we wouldn't know what to do, because all you've done is rely on police, army,
and they're all against us.
They're all
part
us.
of the corporation. Because you do know that
they're the same ones to snatch you up as soon as you speak on something.
We're part of a corporation. That's your birth certificate means they own you. That's why you have to become suffering. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Also, listen to me. Somebody come snatch up this. If you are African and you know which part of Africa this is.
Oh, please.
La marche, le sang est là? Oui!
Yeah,
And Japan.
I wanted you to come to listen to my silence.
And to be honest, when we show you more videos, you're going to understand. I now understand why this one dude is using the Japanese and African. It just makes sense.
Yeah,
when you learn your history, it's so on point, on top.
Submissive.
This dude, if you believe in science, history, aliens, fallen ones, this Vice, I gotta big you up for this one.
Yeah,
I gotta big you up for this dude. But I tell you, if I see this brother, I'm gonna thump him. He says he's the new Jesus.
Sur terre, et le dernier prophète s'appelle Raël. Et un prophète, il a un disciple.
Africans, oh, I want to slap them.
They're
Listen,
really confused.
you're
waiting for a white man to come into your thing and tell you about, you need to reconnect with
oh my God,
with your traditions. These times you're trying to figure out the source. I can take it and use your magic punch.
you're not even ready for the stuff he's saying.
Again.
You're not ready for the stuff he's saying. But for me personally, anyone that knows me, they know something that I personally downloaded. It scared me because I said, anyway, I'm not going to say nothing else.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to say anything else. But it arrested me, and I said,
no,
I'm not going to say it because I'm already classed as weird as it is. But
no,
this dude is taking the mick. He's the new Jesus. Check out the necklace.
well.
Check out the necklace he's wearing, fam. We've told you about these symbols, and check out all the little things that he's saying. I'm halfway through. I'm halfway through, and I want to thump somebody tell me where this nigga is at. I swear down, I want to thump him.
It's just the fact that they get to go around the whole world confusing
with the
people.
Same story though. Because he's not the first one. Wasn't there a guy I think he was in Russia or Denmark calling him, and people think he's Jesus, got straight hair and he's tall and he's white. But it's what he said is that's the scary thing. Right. I'm going to end on this one thing. I mentioned it in another video, but I couldn't remember how to say it. My lips was tongue-tied. Do you remember?
What?
You'll see. You'll see in a minute.
Liturgical?
No, it's
what
not.
Is it?
It's not that.
Mom.
On la Reconquista.
We need to do better.
The image of Santiago Matamoros, St. James, the Moor Slayer. Shall I say it again, considering we didn't exist? The Moor Slayer acquires new meaning as he is confronted with new adversaries. Traditionally, this saint was depicted killing Moors and indigenous peoples. The image of St. James was one of the first to be brought to the Americas in order to subdue and convert the native population.
That's just all they do.
To the will of the conquistadors. To this day, he is recognized as a saint by the Catholic Church and is Spain's patron saint. Did you hear what I said? So is religion about racism or not?
It's a money-making scheme.
Not just that, it's about assuming someone's identity.
Say again?
It's about assuming someone's identity. I've got another one for you, just so that, you know, you don't see this as, oh, they're just making it up. I'm going to keep showing you until you get it.
It's your own facts.
You need to come out of her. What does the Bible say? Come out of her. Vipers and snakes.
Elizabeth II comes into focus.